Our next speaker is John Parker, who's the Secretary of the Gippsland Trades and Labour Council.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. And firstly, of course, I'm an organiser for the CMFU, the construction union, and being a regional organiser, for a start, we are coming across workers which are not covered by enterprise agreements. My view is that I'm an organiser, and my role as an organiser is to go on to non-union sites. Union sites, I've already organised those, and I think that that's one of the issues that the union movement has to look at, not just in your rights at work, but we have to look at in a broader context that we've forgotten. And the union movement, and I'm not going to be critical of the ALP, I'm not a member of the ALP, don't get me wrong, but when I'm asked to stand in front of ALP, I say I'm not going to criticise the ALP, that's your business what you do, because 45% of my workers vote Conservative. 45% of the blue collar workers are not welded on to a socialist view, and even putting aside, even accepting, if you can, that the Labor movement, the Labor Party is on the socialist side of life. Therefore, I think that the union movement needs to have a look at where we're going, because if we want to make a difference, we have to get 80% of our workers politicised enough to think that they're not going to vote Conservative. And then I've said to the ALP, then I'll come and tell you what you've got to do. Make no bones about it. When I get 80% of my workers politicised, then I'm going to have a view. I'm going to have a strong view. And that's, I guess, that the Trades and Labour Council over the last 5 years or 4.5 years has tried to do in Gippsland. We reformed the Trades and Labour Council in Gippsland about 4.5 years ago, and we called ourselves Community Unionism, with the aim of politicising the workforce and the community as well. Because if workers or workers' organisations think that they're going to win the battle just on industrial issues, they won't. If every time that there's an election on, the unions get a rush to the head, like the ALP does, and run round wanting to kiss babies and kiss the community, but the rest of the time forgetting about the community, they won't. They'll never politicise their workforce, they'll never politicise the next generation. But I think that before the union movement really starts to engage with the Labor Party on whether the Labor Party's doing it right or not doing it right, I think the union movement really needs to have a look at how we're doing it. I think that that's the major issue that you need to look at. And I think that one of the problems that the union movement has to look at is being able to broaden its outlook, because I think the Your Rights at Work campaign is narrowly focused. It has some flaws in it by being narrowly focused. So there's a whole range of issues that the union movement, I think, has an obligation to do. And the first obligation is that we have to resolve how we simply pursue the right to have enterprise agreements. The hairy-chested unions, such as the CMFU and the Metals, really need to have a look at why they're leaving a huge amount of their workforce behind. Traditionally, unions have always put their hand back and brought the weaker up. We've always had a responsibility to go forward. You'll never get me to say that we shouldn't pursue the highest rates of pay we can get, because the strong sets the pace. but we should be at all times putting our hand back to bring up the weaker people behind us, and to leave people 50% less than what we're getting in our strong sides, while our members shrink because of it, because you're not helping the people on $17, $18 an hour. Those members are being left behind, and I think that's a shame, and that's a disgrace to our generation. We've gone forward. We've left a planet which is in trouble. We've left a workforce which is probably not going to have holiday pay, sick leave, or any of those entitlements, and we're fiddling around the edges.